Welcome to Maple Life, where we peel back Vancouver's glittering facade and reveal the brutal truth behind the city's soaring cost of living. Today's episode is not for the faint of heart. We're talking about how even high earners are sweating under Vancouver's sky-high rent, and it's not just about the apartments. Let's dive in. Let's start with the grim math. According to recent data, the average Vancouverite now earns around $67,000 a year. But here's the shocker. A one-bedroom apartment now costs roughly $2,700 per month. That's about 40 to 45% higher than the national average rent, leaving many with their monthly income devoured by housing costs. Renters in Vancouver may be spending upwards of 60% in their income on housing, double the recommended threshold of 30%. Imagine nurses earning $75K and teachers at $68K earning modestly above the city's median, being forced to cram into tiny converted dens or even flee to smaller surrounding cities like Abbotsford or Chilliwack, where long commutes eat up another 10 to 12% of their income. Even junior architects pulling in over $70,000 are squeezed into luxury condos that measure barely 450 square feet, roughly the size of 3.5 parking lots. With vacancy rates near a record low of 0.9%, living in Vancouver can feel like choosing between a closet or a van. In today's survival mode, many Vancouverites have no choice but to juggle multiple gigs. A recent UBC study found that half of residents are hustling on the side, with extra work contributing up to 35% of their total income. Picture this: Uber drivers who babysit alpacas at night. Yes, that's a real side gig now. Tech entrepreneurs who sell AI raccoon art to niche collectors, and even professional line standers charging as much as $75 an hour just to hold a spot in line at the new condo launches. And it doesn't stop there. Some residents even rent out their reserved parking spots for an extra $400 a month while their cars sit idle out of the province. About 63% of renters confess to working over 60 hours a week. In Vancouver, the hustle culture isn't for bonus, it's a necessity. Now, let's talk about the generational divide. Remember those detached homes boomers bought in the 80s on a $40,000 salary? Adjusted for inflation, that's about $110K today, and those homes are now worth around $2.1 million. Meanwhile, millennials are finding themselves in a market where a household income of over $220K is often needed just to qualify for a mortgage on a starter condo priced at $1.2 million. And than 30% of the typical down payment. It's a clear difference between boomers and millennials that leaves many wondering if the rules of home ownership have changed forever. Think that earning a six-figure salary in tech or finance means you're living large? Think again. Even with a salary of $150K, after paying roughly $45K in taxes, $36K in rent, $18K in childcare, and maybe $10K in student loans, you might end up with just about $12 a day for food, transit, and other everyday stuff. And let's not forget about those luxury condos. They often have paper-thin walls, a jaw-dropping $1,200 monthly strata fee, and elevators that break down 3 times more than the national average. High earners are trapped by these golden handcuffs. They could, in theory, escape to Calgary, where a $150K salary could buy you a 2,500 square foot home. But then you'd have to say goodbye to Vancouver's priceless natural charm and view of the mountains. So, can Vancouverites be saved? The latest numbers show that Metro Vancouver's 2025 living wage is pegged at around $28.40 an hour, while the minimum wage is $17.40 an hour. Locals are demanding radical changes, taxing the 25,000 empty Airbnbs, building more affordable non-luxury housing, or if that doesn't work, fleeing to places like Nova Scotia, where $500,000 can buy you a 4-bedroom farmhouse. Politicians promise change, but as rents keep climbing and absurd alternatives and side gigs emerge, it's clear that survival in Vancouver isn't just about finding a roof, it's about finding hope in the chaos. So, here's the million-dollar question. Or rather, the multi-million-dollar dilemma. Is Vancouver really worth the fight? Would you settle for a $2,700 a month moldy unit just to have access to those mountain views? Or is it time to consider your move to a place where rent is $1,200 less a month? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit subscribe, and let us know if you'd rather keep battling the beast or finally call somewhere else home. Stay strong, Vancouver. Maybe one day we'll all afford a bedroom with windows. Thanks for watching Maple Life, where we bring you the latest scoop behind the city that never stops surprising. Stay tuned for our next deep dive.